This idea of how to be creative when life is a little bit crazy. So I wanted to bring two little writing exercises that are going to give you that insight into that creative place that you can then tap into when you're feeling a little bit uncreative because of the way that life is around you. Today's exercises are based on a couple of requests that I've had. I do take requests. You can put them on the page below the video, so leave them in the comments, or you can drop me a tweet. I'm always happy to do requests. So I had a few this month that I've grouped into a similar category because they were all asking for similar things. This idea of how to be creative when life is a little bit crazy, or where we have to have quite a thick shell because it seems that the society we live in is quite tumultuous or unpredictable. So how can we be soft when life has us going through in a way that feels quite hard? Okay. So I've taken some inspiration from a lovely quote by Picasso. This is a really gorgeous book, and it's a really nice way to find inspiration if you are trying to develop a creative practice. So the quote is this: "Art washes from the soul the dust of everyday life." So this feels really relevant for the requests that I've had, that life can clog us up, life can feel a little dirty, and we want to be creative still. So what if we began to see that creativity was the way that we can wash ourselves clean, the way that we can find softness when we've been a little bit hard, or where we can shed that grime that's begun to build up? So this is the first exercise that I want to do. So think about what form creativity takes for you, whether it's a writing practice, whether it's something more spiritual, whether it's connection with your career, whether it's something more artistic. So whatever creativity means for you in this moment today, I want you to, for the next 2 minutes, I want you to explore in what ways does your creativity wash you. Okay, so 2 minutes, I'm going to set the timer and write alongside you, and we're going to be exploring in what ways does your creativity wash you. Off you go. Okay, there we go, the first exercise. So, what did you find? How does your creativity wash you? Yeah, I thought this was quite cool actually, and I'm kind of grateful to Mr. Picasso. I discovered that my creativity washes me because it takes me beyond those cyclical thoughts, cyclical daily thoughts, those very familiar streets that I will walk up and down every day. And it takes me into ideas and feelings beyond those everyday mundane thought patterns. And I put here, it reminds me how powerful and joyful the imagination is. So it made me reflect that creativity, this access to the imagination, is a tool that can specifically lift us from the day's hardships, from the world's hardships, and from the way that our mind is responding to that in a very cyclical, repetitive thought pattern way, and take us into a deeper place where there are more ideas, there are more feelings. And I put, the imagination is that tool. We have to go somewhere else beyond the dust into a place that shimmers. And so really it's that door into a much larger, shinier world, the world of our imagination. So I hope that that brought you some insight either into how life's restricting you at the moment, and also a little bit of insight into what the imagination or what creativity has waiting for you that you can access. Okay, so the next exercise, we're really stepping into now that place where we can have faith in our creativity. Because I know based on these requests, it wasn't just, I want to know what creativity is to me, but it's also when I'm feeling quite stressed, when I'm feeling quite concerned about the world, how can I find my creativity when I'm really in that very thinking, mundane place? Creativity doesn't really seem to be anywhere nearby. So this is a really nice practice that can start to show you that the mind can create the path, and that it is as simple as that. But the mind has to first create the path in order for you to be able to get there. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend 2 minutes exploring if you could design your path to creativity. What would that look like? So essentially, the power is with you. However you want that journey to creativity to be, and for it to be there, that path that you take either every day or every week, that path that you take when you need to, okay? So if you could design that path that takes you to creativity, how would it be? 2 minutes, off you go. All right. So again, let's have a little moment to reflect. How did you find that? This opportunity to essentially design your path. It can be a challenging one, this moment where you're like, what, really? I can just lay it out and I can just do it and it's going to be there. This is the beauty about the imagination. This is the beauty about working with the brain, and which is why I love this kind of work and why I choose to work with writers and artists, because they're so responsive to these life coaching principles and practices. So, excuse me, I realized that just in that trust, that knowing the moment I turn to look for the path, that the path is there. It's a kind of, it's always there. I might be getting on with my life and then I say, okay, it's time to turn, to look and to see the path. And I really felt that, this sense of some hedging and then this narrow lane that goes between the hedging and then just leads. And also that feeling that creativity is there, it lies beyond and it's waiting. And it's a sense of all I need to do is turn to look and begin to make that journey there. And I put, it would be there in the sight of my notebook, on the table, and I would journey to my pencil and gather my book, trusting the path. And feeling that creativity is there, always there for when I decide to see the path and take steps down it. And so I realized that this connection with creativity, this connection with inspiration, it's not about saying, oh God, it's gone, where is it? It's about that moment where we say, I know it's there, and I decide to take that path towards it, to step into my imagination and allow that to wash the dust of life away for half an hour, for an hour, for as long as you need, before you then return back to everyday life. So there you go, 2 insights to really help you find that creative place where life has given you a bit of a hard shell, where current affairs in the world are bringing fear up, and you want to soften and you want to step back into the imagination and get a sense of that endlessness, get a sense of that shine.